We're here at South by Southwest with Nerdist Chris Hardwick. First of all, how does like kind of a MTV comedian dude become a digital entrepreneur? How did this happen?
Well, I think because I worked in television for so long and wasn't always thrilled with the way the traditional entertainment worked, I kind of just, I was one of those like, I'm fed up with the entertainment industry, I'm going to do my own thing. But not so fed up that I'm ready to write it off completely. I still work a lot in traditional entertainment, but I sort of just needed a place for myself. I mean, I think it's a pretty classic story. I just started pursuing stuff that I actually cared about, and that was it.
So what's the business model for being a nerd? What's the nerd business model that you're making work somehow?
I kind of look at all of the Nerdist as sort of like the game like SimCity, where you start in one area. So I started as a website, which I ran alone. And then after a little while, I kind of expanded that and brought on contributors and then an editor, and then started a podcast and then connected those things, and then started the social media and connected those, and then started producing a television show. And so it really is just about, I think, creating little flags in each of the platforms and then just connecting them and creating content that sort of swirls around, like complementary content that that doesn't cannibalize one platform or another, but just sort of gives people a nice little ecosystem of stuff. But the core of it is really, we're just making stuff that we want to see exist in the world.
Well, now you've got big bucks now because you have Legendary behind you, and kind of Dark Knight, Inception. So this is a big nerd, a major nerd entertainment company. So how does this arrangement work with Legendary? How did that, do you have autonomy? Did they buy you out? Are you earning out? How does that partnership work? Or not a partnership, they bought you, correct?
Sure, they bought us, but there were other companies who were sort of sniffing around, and my partner Peter and I'm the chief creative officer, and I partnered with Peter Levin, who is the CEO, and he.
That's always the best job, that chief creative officer.
Well, that's what I wanted. That's what I want to do. Yeah, like when Nerdist started to use a term from your world, when Nerdist started to scale a bit, I realized I'm either going to have to stop doing all the creative stuff that I like and just focus on business, or I'm going to have to let a lot of the business stuff go away. And I partnered with Peter. Peter and I are a really good match because I'm 80-20 creative to business, and he's the opposite. And we both have the same goals, and we trust each other.
And how did you guys get together?
Peter ran a company called Geek Chic Daily, which was a daily kind of geek news newsletter. Right. And when we first started talking, the thing that we realized was, Peter had all this infrastructure and a little bit of content, and I had all this content and just a little bit of infrastructure. And so it just sort of it was one of those.
You had your chocolate peanut butter moment.
Exactly, which not that I'm superstitious, but I think there was some sort of, it's one of those astrological things that happened, that we just happened to meet and have these, complementary businesses.
So you put the businesses together.
So we mashed the businesses together, and Peter and I always just felt like, I think we're doing good on our own, and we didn't want to become a part of a bureaucracy and then basically go back to what I was trying to get away from initially. But Legendary was an early investor of Geek Chic, and so therefore they became an investor of Nerdist. And their business model, again, like Legendary does all these big things, and we do all these kind of street level things. They do huge budget things, and we do smaller budget things. And we have a lot of community outreach, and we sort of we're in our demographics, so we sort of live in that world. And so that was it. And when the idea came that this could happen, I was all for it. And Thomas Tull sat down with us and said, I don't want to interfere. I want you guys to run autonomously. We just want to be able to give you more resources to do the stuff that you want to do. And so that's kind of where we've been at, and it's been great.
If you had one lesson that other people, especially here at South by Southwest, we have so many people who are starting businesses,
sure,
people watching the starting business, what's the one lesson that you've taken in the last 5 years that you think kind of projects out?
I think it's about finding out what it is that you're passionate about and following that, because then it doesn't seem like work. If you go after something just because you think there's a paycheck in it, you won't stay passionate about it. You won't put in the extra hours. We're sort of driven by the fact that we're constantly trying to figure out ways to expand, not so much for business reasons, although those are nice reasons, but also because it's fun.
Any thoughts on what you're going to do next in terms of where you're taking the company?
Now we're producing television shows. We produce the TV show that I do for BBC America, Nerdist Industries does. Did a pilot for Comedy Central. We have pilots at AMC and Nat Geo. And so I think it's, creating more content on television, continuing to create content on the web via podcasts or, web video, try to connect all those things together, and then live events, and then branch out into film. I want to make movies, like not giant budget movies. I just want to make kind of fun little nerdy movies.
You gonna act, direct? Where are you in this movie?
I probably wouldn't be so narcissistic that I would put myself. I don't have to be in I don't have to be in the movies. If it makes sense for me to be in one, that's fine. But for me, I would rather figure out how to make the best product rather than try to mash myself.
So you'll be, instead of being the Uber nerd, you'll be the king of the nerds. So that's it.
There's no. The king of the nerds is someone like that's not me. That's like Gabe Newell or Elon Musk or someone. It's not. I don't think it's me.
Okay, so we're here with the king of the media nerds, Chris Hardwick. Thank you very much.
Let's say I'm a duke. That's a good enough title.
Duke of the media nerds.
Duke of the media nerds. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.